Hello there. Welcome to another episode where we talk about innovation. In this episode, we are going to talk about another level where innovation occurs. We already talked about the product level, the service level, and the process level. So let's get into it. When you talk about business model innovation, what exactly do we mean? So what is a business model? Well, when you talk about business model, a business model is simply how a business makes money and delivers value. So those two key things, how the business makes money and how it delivers value. Think of it as a plan or a map that shows what the business does, how it serves customers, how it makes money, what we call revenue, how it spends that money, the costs, and how it delivers the service or the product. Let's look at a small example. A mama mboga buys vegetables in bulk and sells them in small portions to local customers. So her business model is simple. She buys her products in bulk, so she buys low, she buys cheaply, sells high at a higher cost, and delivers daily, right? So she buys vegetables in bulk, keeping the cost down. She sells these vegetables at a higher price and does that daily. You will see her today, you will see her tomorrow. So what is business model innovation exactly? Now that you know what a business model is. A business model innovation is when you try to change how your business creates, delivers, or captures that value that you give to your customers. It's one of the riskiest level of innovation for any business, for any corporate, because you have to change a lot of things that a lot of people are not comfortable with. It's not just about new products. It's about doing business differently in a way that gives you an edge. In short, you can have the same product, yes, or maybe tweak it a little bit. So same product, but you must have a new way of selling it, charging for it, or reaching the customers, or reaching people. And that's what we mean by business model. It is risky, I agree. But if you're not happy on how your current business model is progressing, how you're generating revenue, your customers, you don't have a high customer retention, I think it is worth relooking at what your business model looks like and trying to find ways on how you can improve it. So why is business model innovation important? And why should, as business owners, as people trying to start businesses, really look at it? All business models die. What worked a decade ago may not be working right now. And what works right now, there's a high chance in the next 4-5 years from now, it may not work. So it helps us and it helps us have a renewed look in how we conduct our businesses, and it helps us stand in a crowded market. Sometimes you don't need a new product. You just need a new model on how you deliver this new product to the market. So let's really talk about, I think the best way to understand a big complex thing is trying to break it into parts. So what are the key parts of a business model? You don't need to know everything, just these key pieces. The first one and the most important thing when you talk about business model is your customer. The people who pay for that product or service or solution. Who are you serving? You must be very precise when you're answering that question. What does your customer look like? Where do they live? How much do they roughly earn in a month? We can get into specifics, their gender, their age. An example could be the youth, Buddha Buddha riders, single mothers. You have to be very specific on who your customer is. Who are you serving? And if you don't really know who your customer is, it's very hard to do a business model innovation, to restructure how you operate things. So you must understand who your customer is. The next thing you need to understand and talk about business model innovation is your value proposition. What problem are you solving for your customer? Are you saving their time? Are you saving their money? Are you cheaper? Or are you reducing the stress that your customers go through? So you need to understand what your value proposition to your customer is. Why should they come back over and over again? You need to answer that question. If you can't answer that question, then you need to be able to look at who else is doing the same thing that you are doing and what can you do differently. How do you generate revenue? That's the next key piece that you need to look at. How do you make money? Businesses, money is like fuel for business. You need it. You need it to do the daily operations, to pay bills. So how do you make money? Is it through subscriptions? Is it through sales? Is it through commissions? You need to answer that question. The next thing that you need to answer that is key is channels. How do you deliver your product or service to your customer? And is it the most effective way to deliver that service to your customer? It could be, do you sell through WhatsApp? Do you sell through TikTok or Instagram? Do you have a website? Is it e-commerce? Or do you do in person? And if you do in person, how scalable is it? How many people can you talk to as a person? You also need to look a little bit about cost structure. You generate this amount of revenue. Okay, from that amount of revenue, what do you spend that money on as a business owner? Is it through salaries, buying materials and stuff like that? You need to look at that when you're talking about business model. The amount of money you get, how much you spend from this money that you get, where you spend your money on as a business. And the last thing that is also quite unique that you must look at is your ecosystem. The key partners. Who helps you run the business? For example, if it's the example that we had, the mama mboga, one of your key partner is the farmer who grows these vegetables. The next thing is your customer. They are a key partner. They are the people who buy the product. For example, you could look at maybe the example I gave of channels, how you deliver your products. If it's not the most effective way to deliver your offer to your customer, you could try and innovate better channels. I hope that makes sense. So how do you start innovating your business model? I think the first thing is, first of all, understanding your current model. If you don't understand your current model right now, there is no way you're going to even figure out what you need to work on to improve. So sit down critically and look at those levels that I mentioned, the costs, your customers, your revenue, I mentioned, and try to understand where you are right now. So what's working, what is not working? That's step one. Step two, ask the right questions. Can I reach customers in a new way? Are there new channels that I can use to reach my customers? We live in a world that's full of noise. Your customers are probably distracted by other hundreds of things, other hundreds of products. You need to look at is what I'm is at the channels that I'm using, are they sufficient enough, right? Uh, so can I reach my customers in a sort of a different way? Can I change how people pay? Right? So that could be something else that you need to look at. So you need to ask these questions. Can I change how people pay for the value? Right? Can I serve a different group? Maybe you're serving the wrong group. And that mostly happens when you don't know who your customer is. When you don't know who your customer is, there's a high chance you end up serving the wrong group. So you need to look at, am I serving the wrong group? Is there another group that I need to target that will make my business make more sense? So the step 3 that I would say is look around. What are others doing in your field? And you might draw a lot of inspiration, and not just locally. What what are other people doing in East Africa, in Africa, in the planet? What are other people doing that's similar to mine, but they're strides ahead of me, and then try to see what you can emulate. Can I borrow and improve what others are doing to improve what I'm doing? And then the next thing that I try to tell people is test small. You don't have to change the whole thing, right? Try a small pilot first. Try try with, I don't know, like 10 of your best customers. Listen to their feedback. If it's a good idea and they really like it, then you can try and scale and add more customers and open it up full blown as you continue here. But in summary, what am I saying? What should you remember from this? A business model is how a business makes money and delivers value, right? So a business model innovation is changing how you do business, not just what you sell. How do you do business? It's not always about the product. It's about your customer. It's about how do you get to your customer. It's also about how do you make money. So about how do you spend that money that you get. So it's how do you do your business? So a business model helps businesses survive. It's what helps you grow and stay ahead of the competition. You don't need millions to innovate around what you're doing. You just need to talk to your customers. And that's what I always say. If something is not working, if you have a business that's not working, if you have a product that's not just working, you need to talk to your customers. Every time you're confused, talk to your customers. You just need that one fresh idea and a smart approach. Start small, then scale as you grow.